A Marine Corps brother of mine texted me. Hadn't heard from him in a long time. He asked me a question about life insurance. Simple question, the kind I've answered thousands of times across my career. Then he told me why he was asking. And I sat there in front of my phone and I had to type a text. It was the hardest sentence I ever had to type in 26 years of me doing this. There's nothing I can do. Not because I didn't want to. Not because I didn't have the license or the carriers or the relationships or every bit of knowledge a man could have about how to help my friend, but because he waited. And sadly, he's gone now. So here's what I need you to understand watching this video. I need you to hear it clearly, crystal clear, that you cannot buy life insurance when you need it. You can only buy it when you don't. The day the diagnosis lands, that door closes to get life insurance. Not slowly, not without a warning. It's just closed. Every company in this country says no, and there's not one thing your friend in the business can do about it. I know. I'm that friend. I've been the guy who had to type out that text. You can't build a wall during the war. Nobody in history has ever built a wall while the enemy was already at the gate. You build it in peacetime. You build it when everything's fine and everything in your body feels unnecessary and nobody thanks you for it. See, that's the only time it can be built. Right now is your peacetime. And most of you are spending it doing nothing. So drop the word wall if you've been telling yourself that you've got time. Welcome to the 7-Figure Squad, 375,000 strong and growing. 26 years I spent in the financial services industry. I sat at kitchen tables and I've been in boardrooms. And I'm not talking to you from a mountaintop. I'm a man who went from broke and bankrupt at 22 years old to financially free in his 40s. No college degree, no inheritance, no rich family, no rich network. And I built an entire national agency because of what I'm about to show you. This is a whole reason why we exist. How? Let's get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Who are we? Hey, 7-Figure Squad. What we go? Run it up, run it up.
So let's put a number on it. 98 million Americans are either uninsured or underinsured on life insurance. Now that's LIMRA and Life Happens, their 2026 barometer study, this year's numbers. Break it down. 74 million adults need life insurance and don't have any at all. Another 24 million have some and already know it's not enough. 98 million, almost 100 million in this country right now. And almost half of American adults don't own a single policy. Half. Now, I'm going to be straight because I don't do fear for a living. That number is actually getting better. 2 years ago, that gap was 42%. Now it's down to 38. 4 points in 2 years. So do the math on that pace. We're not closing this in your lifetime. We're closing it, hopefully, in decades. Decades of funerals, decades of families finding out on the worst day that nobody built that financial wall. And here's what 98 million actually means, because a number that big is too big to feel. It means 98 million families are one phone call away from losing the house, one diagnosis away from putting up a GoFundMe account, one funeral away from watching everything that 2 generations built get sold off to cover a financial gap that nobody ever measured. Not one recession away, not one financial crash away in the stock market, one Tuesday away. See, that's the gap. And in most homes in America tonight, nobody's standing in it. Now watch, because the people getting destroyed by this are not who you think. I sat across over 180,000 clients directly and indirectly in the last 5 years through our insurance agency. Roughly 160,000 households and kitchen tables and boardrooms through a global pandemic. And I want to tell you something that still bothers me. Not once, not one single time have I ever sat down with a family that already had the right amount of coverage already in place. Not once. In 160,000 households in a multicultural middle-income demographic. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking that it's because I sit with broke people. No. I sat with families scraping by. I sat down with people holding 8 figures, high net worth individuals. And I'll tell you, the one thing they had all in common: confusion. Every income level, top to bottom. And I'm not the only one saying it anymore. LIMRA's own 2026 study came out and said it flat, that confusion, not lack of interest, is what's keeping this country uncovered from a life insurance standpoint. Look at what people actually say when you ask them why they don't have it. The number one answer every generation says, it's too expensive. So let's test that. Ask an American under 31 years old what a basic life insurance policy costs for 1 year. Well, LIMRA did. The median guess was $1,200. You want to know what Limmer says it actually costs? $192. Yes, $192. And I think it's $1,200. They're not saying no to life insurance. They're saying no to a price that doesn't exist. And the next answer down that list, a third of young adults say the reason they don't have it is they're not sure how much they need or what type of life insurance style to buy. Read that again. They're not refusing, they're just lost or confused. Nobody ever sat down and showed them. So don't tell me this is a money problem because it's never been a money problem. It's a confusion problem that grows up into a procrastination problem. Because a man doesn't get around to what he doesn't understand. He just keeps meaning to. It'll get done, but never does. And meaning to is what kills financially many families in America today. Every single person who ever told me, yeah, let me think about it, was really saying, I don't believe it's going to happen to me. My Marine Corps brother said that too, once. And then it was him. So drop the word window if you're starting to see it. Most people feel that getting uncomfortable for an evening or a day and go right back to sleep. Not us, not right now. Because God addressed this directly. He did not soften this command. 3 truths. Nobody taught me any of them. They took me 26 years to learn and they cost a brother of mine everything. So truth number 1, you are not insuring your life. You are insuring your insurability. Now sit with that word for a moment. The asset you don't know you own isn't your money. It's your health, your qualification to get life insurance. The simple fact that a company will say yes to you today, that's an asset. Now, that's not a product, that's a window. And that window is open right now for those of you healthy enough to get it. And you don't know when that window closes. Nobody gets a warning when the health changes. He didn't get one. You can always make more money, but you can never make more insurability. And guess what? Your insurability is the cheapest and the most opportune when you're younger. Truth number 2, provision is not the same thing as earning. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8 says this. Paul was writing that anyone who does not provide for their relatives, especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Read that again. Worse than an unbeliever. That's the harshest language, I think, in the New Testament. And it's aimed at a man who won't provide for his own house. Not a man who can't, just a man who won't. Now, notice that word, provide. Not earn, not work hard, not mean well, the word provide. See, provision is a thing that still is standing when you're not. So if your family's provision walks out the door the same day you do, you weren't providing, you were just working. So truth number 3, tomorrow was never yours to spend. James chapter 4, verse 13 says this, you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You're a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. A mist. That's you. That's me. That's a brother of mine who texted me that simple question that I couldn't have an answer for. In Proverbs 27, verse 1 says, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Every man who waits is boasting about tomorrow. He doesn't know he's doing it. It's kind of a subconscious thing. He thinks he's being reasonable. But every I'll get to it is a claim on a day God doesn't promise you. 3 truths I just shared, and every one of them lands in the same place. That you can't build the wall during the war. Where's the wall your family's supposed to stand behind? Drop the word gap if that makes sense to you. See, this is now the doctrine I've been talking about, so here is the assignment. So as you're watching this, consider this one move. Then I'll tell you the truth about the rest. That one move is run your dime analysis. What? Dime analysis number today, on paper, 4 letters. D stands for debt. Everything you leave behind, the cars, the cards, the loans, the funeral nobody budgets for. I stands for income. What your family lives on times the years they'd still need it. Not just 1 year, the years. M stands for mortgage, the roof over their heads, the whole balance, because the bank does not care, sadly, that you passed away. E, education. What you promise those kids to either educate them or give them capital to start their own business, whether you said it out loud or not. Now, add it all up. That's what your family needs. Now, write down what they actually get if you died in your sleep tonight. The real number. Not what you assume, not the policy at work you've never read. Subtract. That difference has a name. That's the gap. And there's nobody standing in it but you. Drop the word dime in the comment section below so I know that you're doing it. Then go get the worksheet I'm providing absolutely for free. And the link is pinned right below in this video. It's a couple pages on a PDF. It'll take you 10 minutes and it will tell you the truth. Because most of you have never once put those two numbers next to each other. What you owe and what you own, subtract, that's the gap. Because many people have been guessing at the single most important number in your family's life. Now look at it. Then you'll know if you're the wall or if you're just hoping. And guess what? Hope is not a financial strategy. But here's the truth about the rest. I'm not going to teach you how to close that gap from a YouTube video. I'm not going to tell you which product, which amount, which structure. Anyone who does that on the internet is lying to you because they don't know your personal needs. Because the answer is different for every single family. It takes somebody sitting at your table or a Zoom conversation to get your number right. That's why we sit at tables. That's why we do Zooms. That's why we connect online or in person. And I wanted to tell you about a family we worked with for years. The husband got sick. His wife called us. And here's what happened. Because of the work that man did years before, back when he was healthy, back when it felt unnecessary, back when nobody would have blamed him for waiting, guess what? A couple weeks ago, he passed. There were zero surprises, at least from a financial standpoint. We get on the phone with the carriers. Everything moved to the wife. Got left behind, exactly the way he set it up. She didn't have to sell the house. She didn't have to make a single decision in the worst week of her life. She didn't have to wonder. Yeah, she was heartbroken, still is. She was also very certain from a financial standpoint. She had financial confidence. She had clarity in the middle of a funeral, in the middle of a crisis. See, that's what a wall does. He built his wall, financial wall, in peacetime. And when that financial war came, his wife stood behind it. Now, two brothers, both in the Marine Corps, same conversation available to both of them. One built the wall, one meant to. Drop the word table if you're ready to have that conversation. Here's why this matters more than one family. I didn't build a national insurance agency to sell policies. I built it so that when the worst day comes, a family has somebody on the phone. We're on a crusade to help 1 million families. We're 16% of the way there. 16%, that means about 840,000 families are still standing in a gap with nobody in it. I can sit at all those tables. Nobody can. And that's the whole problem. There aren't enough people standing in the gap. However, here's the door. If you're watching this and something you just said, I don't want to be the man or woman who meant to. If you want your family's financial wall built, or you're the kind of person who wants to build that financial wall for other families, there's a place for that. Where? MoneySmartMovement.com. That's the door. I consider and encourage you to walk through it. That's where we take people who are done meaning to actually doing to. If you got value from this episode, please hit like. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and notifications to be alerted next time we upload our next episode. Drop your biggest takeaways in the comment section below. And thank you for watching this series of Standing in the Gap. God bless you. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.